Good evening, everybody. This is your girl, Lady She, on Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. I am your host. You can also call me She's the Bird, or you can just call me She. Everything is She around these parts. But listen, on tonight, I am super excited to present to some and introduce to others Mr. Dexter Hedgepeth. Oh my goodness, guys. Weirdly, I'm not even going to say weirdly. It's God. Y'all know I'm going to say that every episode because it is. And don't y'all steal my thing because you're going to see some shirts that say, it's God. You're going to know it came from Lady She herself. Don't even do me because I don't play games with legalities. You're gonna see all the trademarks, everything in the world. I will happily sue you people. But listen, seriously, Mr. Dexter Hedgepeth. We divine connections, guys. I promise you. If you pay attention, especially in this season, God is just connecting the right people to you. If you've been praying for certain things, this is manifestation season. It is not a cliche. I promise you, it is not a cliche. This young man has his church, rather, has blessed me and my family. I don't even think they honestly know through divine connections. Huge thank you to Dawn and Chris. Edmund and my godmother Vicky Moore, of course. I have my oldest, he's 20 now, going to their camp every year because this was their church and they connected me through in that manner. And I will always see this young man dealing with the kids, and then I was able to connect with him through Boys into Men. We're going to get into that, but introducing Mr. Dexter Hedgepeth.
What's up, everybody? How are you? I am so honored to be here. And listen, we're going to have a good time tonight. We are family. We go way back. Absolutely. I can't believe my son is 20.
He is absolutely 20.
I was teaching vacation Bible school. So that was many, many moons ago. And I'm just so excited to be here and to be a part of the podcast. And we're looking forward to have a good time. So tune in, like, share, subscribe.
Yes, subscribe.
And make sure you let somebody know it's going down right now.
It's absolutely going down. We are talking to a man, the man, a young king, about the kings and our young kings. So, just, let the people know where you're from and, just jump right in, whatever you want to let the people know. And then I will get to my hot mic questions, y'all. Y'all know it gets hot up in here.
Hot mic, we're going hot tonight.
We get warm first and then we go.
Listen,
let's
I'm ready
get
to
it.
Jump in. So I'm Dexter, everybody. Most of my people that follow me on Instagram follow me as Mr. Executive. So if you look for me on Instagram, you can find me you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Executive. And I'm just a straight up community, Long Island, Nassau County, Freeport type of dude. Raised, born, bred, all that good stuff right here in the community. I always, in certain meetings, I refer to myself as a son of the port. Because that's what I am. I'm a son of Freeport. And Freeport is Nassau County and Nassau County is Long Island. So I'm just a son of the community. Spent most of my years in working in government as a secular job for more than just about 17 years. I've been a part of the governmental arena, work with the nonprofit called Cedarmore Corporation, where I have the privilege to serve as the program director for Boys into Men. Where we educate, evaluate, and we empower young men to take dominion over every area of their life, from academics to athletes. You name it, we do it. And that's what we come to do. We come to save a generation that is not lost. Right. I don't believe the generation is lost. I think they just might be misguided at some areas in their life. And so our job is to help them get right back on track, put them right back on course so that they can succeed and achieve in every area of their life.
Love it, love it, love it. Now, let me ask you this. It's so funny because I thought I was following you on Instagram. Oh, you know what? It was probably the new page that wasn't following you. So, Mr. Executive, explain that because I saw an explanation and I love it. So, please share the explanation for the day.
Yeah, so I don't know how it's just like my friends were always like, you're an executive. You're an executive. Like, you're the one that's going to plan the trip, manage the trip, get everybody money. You're going to be the first one at the airport, making sure everybody else is there. And then in the work arena, it's just like, if you want the job done, call Dexter, get it done. So everybody started saying Mr. Executive, Mr. Executive. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to change my name to Mr. Executive. And it's really one that has the word, when you study the etymology, which is the meaning of the word, you find that it simply is one who has the ability to perform.
Love it.
And so when I looked that up and I searched it, I'm like, okay, this fits me because I'm going to produce, perform, whatever it is that you need me to do, I'm going to do it. So basically, Mr. Executive is that leader. It's the one that you go to for advice, wisdom, guidance, for them to give you, the direction that you need. So
love
that's
it,
how
love
I
it,
came
love
up
it.
with Mr.
Yeah.
Executive.
See, you know what I love about the story? Because a lot of us will give ourselves names.
Right.
When someone else gives you a name, it's a different kind of energy.
Absolutely.
It's a different kind of respect. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can easily call myself, I can just say I'm that chick. But if somebody else say, nah, she's that chick,
Right.
it feels a little different. It's a little more, it's a little steak on it. It's a little sauce on that thing. So I absolutely love that. Thanks for sharing that. So honestly, I just really want to jump right in. Another reason why I wanted Dexter to come in, because he's close knit and this is his thing, connected to our men. You know, I've said it a million times. You do not know me. If you watch my other lives, my other podcasts, my other episodes, I'm always expressing that I have a heart for the men, and I'm always saying how I feel like that's why God gave me sons, because I have such a heart for the men. You know, I was the only granddaughter for like 20 years, so I was around all boys growing up. That's why the little tomboy thing ain't going nowhere. My husband's okay with it, so don't worry about me. But this is specifically, I want him to come on and tap into, the environment, the energy that he had experience, and also that he's witnessed with, speaking into the lives of our young men and our men your age as well. So when it comes to, how the world is right now, there's so much going on, not even just the pandemic, but just the mental state of our men, black men in particular. What comes to mind when you think about that?
Oh man, I mean, it's so much that comes to mind, honestly, because like you said, right, when you look at the state of the black man, right, and then it's like the state of the black man in a pandemic,
right?
And so the black man is already struggling. He's already performing less than the other man. He has less than the other man educationally, financially. And so now to be in a pandemic where nobody is working, jobs is closing, and it's such a major impact on our black men that I don't think too many people really even pay attention to it. Right. And I think it was on your post today that I read about the black man that smiles.
Yeah,
where's that? We need to pull that up.
That hit me, man.
Let's share that with the.
Yeah, I saw a comment. What was I looking at? Oh, it was a post. I follow somebody. I love my people, man. We're so beautiful. We're amazing. We're so powerful. And it was one of the pages that I follow on Instagram. It showed a video of these three beautiful chocolate men, and they're smiling, and it was just like, I don't know. It almost felt like it was like someone did it, but it was authentic. It was just genuinely a video of them just smiling and just, you know what I'm saying? One got a drink in his hand, the other one, and you see these beautiful dimples, these pretty white teeth. And I'm a comment reader. I need to calm down with that. But I'm a habitual comment reader, because they be funny sometimes. So I'm reading. All you see is, everybody saying, look at the chocolate, we're so beautiful, all this stuff. And then one comment just stuck out where she said, read it.
It says, when black men smile, the world stops for a second. Right? And so,
love it.
When was the last time a black man smiled?
Come on.
Right? When was the last time you seen him smile outside of his birthday, outside of giving them a gift? Right? When was the last time you walked down Main Street and saw a black man smile? When was the last time you walked through Roosevelt Field Mall and saw a black man smile? When was the last time you went to work, you passed 10 black men, but did you see them smile?
Come on.
And so the question then becomes, why aren't they smiling? Right? And so life situations, life circumstances for the black men hit us totally different, right? Because we are the protector, we're the provider, we're the sustainer, and when we have been robbed of our ability to perform as a man, it takes all of the life and the energy out of the man, right? And many of you know, right? You be in a relationship, you start doing everything in the house, female. Start doing everything in the house. That man, sooner or later, is going to rise up and be like, sit down, right? And it's not in a negative way, but it's like, I got the garbage. I got this. Right? Yeah. And I'm going to take the garbage out when I'm ready to take the garbage out. Right? Just because you going to bed right now don't mean I need to take out the garbage right now. I'm not going to bed. Right?
He chose violence tonight, y'all. What the heck? No, I'm just like...
You know, and so I think, and when we look at life and we look at society, right? Look at the educational institution, we look at, you know, the correctional institution, right?
Yeah.
We see so much of our people, our men in places that weren't designed for them, right? When we look at it from our eyes, it was not designed for them.
Right.
Somebody else designed it for our men, for our brothers, right? And so we've got to take the time out to be more engaged with the Black man to see how we can help them smile, right?
Yeah.
Since we're talking about it, how do we re-engage, re-energize, rejuvenate the Black man so that when you see him, right, it's not a struggle on his face, but it's a smile on his face, right?
Yeah.
Because things are in order. And mental health is vitally important, right? And there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist, right? The reality is this, right? The therapist is only someone for you to sit and talk to.
Yes.
Right? It's a safe space. It's an opportunity for you to share. Your mama's getting on your nerve. She don't like your wife. Right? The kids are doing whatever they want to do. Right? It's a safe space. The therapists don't know you outside of therapy, and they shouldn't know you outside of therapy, right? And they just going to give you another perspective of what you're dealing with and how to deal with what you're dealing with in life. And so I'm an advocate for therapists. I'm an advocate for mental health. I've done a number of mental health programs and different things like that, and to keep it engaged, right? Because there's a stigma tied to mental health, right? That's why I keep saying mental health is okay.
Right.
A therapist is okay, because the Black man, I don't need nobody to talk to me. I got this. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Come on,
how you going to tell me to do something different?
Speak
and I've
those
been doing
facts.
this for 40 years. Don't nobody know me but me. Right?
Nobody know me better than me.
It's you got your point, right? You absolutely right. Nobody has walked the steps that you walked, lived the life that you lived, right? The reality of the therapist and mental health, seeking counseling is for you to be able to process what you are dealing with that we don't know about.
Right.
Right. So you don't have to live in your own head, right? It gives you an opportunity to share and converse with someone about what you're dealing with.
Love it, love it, love it. So now, explain to us, how did you even get involved, bring us through how you got involved in Boys into Men. Is it something that you created? Like, how did that go? Tap into your church. I know you love your pastor. Oh my gosh, we lost some amazing, amazing people. Yeah. Oh my goodness. We lost some jewels.
Right.
We lost some kings, in Long Island, right. in the church realm. You can talk about that.
Sure. So I became a part of Boys into Men as a boy. And the reality is 25 years ago, 1996, Bishop Frank O. White started to see a need in the community for a program. This was a time that gangs were coming out more, and they were taking over our parks, and they was taking over our streets and different things like that. And he was like, we need to do something. We need to do something for the community that is going to be impactful for young men. And so, he started out as a basketball tournament, Big Brothers basketball tournament, and then it golfed into the Cedarmore Corporation. And he said, the board is nice, right? And this is what he told me. He's like, the board is nice, but we don't have no young people on there.
Come on.
So how do you plan and develop for young people, and there's no young people at the table?
On.
And
so visionary.
I was a visionary, right?
Yeah,
so I was just a young guy. He's like, Dexter, you're going to be on this board. And I'm like, what board? right? I'm like, I don't even know. That ain't church, right?
Right,
It's
right,
not
right.
the ministerial staff. It's not elders. It's not ministers. It's not deacons.
What
What
is
board,
it?
right? Like, so he's like, it's a nonprofit, and we're going to work on youth development. We're going to provide programs for youth development and youth services. And I said, okay, of course, my first 5 years, I didn't know anything about a board, right? I didn't know nothing about a nonprofit, a 501c3, an extension of the church, right? It was like, you go to church, this is what the church do. You go here, that's what the world
That's
do.
what the world,
right?
yeah.
And so, it was a learning curve for me at a young age, but I honestly appreciate him allowing me to serve as a board member at that age, right? And because
and how old were you exactly?
I had to be at least 15, 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to be about 15 or 16 years old.
Oh man, that just gave me chills.
That opened the door literally for my success today, right? I wasn't a part of no other nonprofit or no other corporation or no other entity, right? I was a part of Cedarmore. Cedarmore taught me what a nonprofit was. Cedarmore taught me what a 501c3 was. Cedarmore taught me how to run a board, right? And how to vote and choose board members and different things like that, right? So my experience there was just to give advice about what we should do in the community, but it was also a wealth of knowledge that I've learned and that was deposited into me that I'm literally standing on today, right? I am still a part of Cedarmore as a board member and as a program director for Boys into Men. And everything that I've learned from grants and funding and writing and advocating, I've learned literally from one corporation, Cedarmore, that have served the community for 25 years, right? And now the testimony is I had a son that was a part. He's 20 years old, and the program is still thriving.
Love it, love it.
And so
I want to bring light to something that he said that's significant. His leader saw something in him, as in God spoke to his leader. So if your leader doesn't have any vision, where are you guys going? So I want you to tap into, the importance of having a covering who hears from God, because we're not going to stay on this too long. But I want people to understand. I want you to give your take on, we could belong to different organizations and different churches or whatever, but if there's no actual vision, you just have a church, or you just have this organization. Explain the importance of not just having a leader, but being led by that person. Because I can just say, Dexter, you 15, get on the board. But I don't really know. I'm just like, he'll give them something. I have to see something. So explain, your take on how important it is to not just have a leader, but have a leader who's pouring into you, who sees your anointing, who sees your gifting. Speak on that a little bit.
So this is just, I'm just going to touch it because I will go a whole mile.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't want to say too more. It's going to be hard for us. We churchy, y'all.
We're going to have a whole vision podcast, okay? Right? We're going to have a whole vision because the reality is this, right? The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish, right? And so the reality is, before the vision can get to the leader, the vision has to get to me, right? And I have to know what is the vision that God has for me. When I know the vision that God has for me, then I know how to align myself up.
There's that word again, y'all. Align.
Right? I've got to learn how to align myself up with the vision that God has for me. In doing so, right, that means, what church are you going to go to, right? Because there's thousands of churches, but it might not be the right church for you.
Say that.
Right? Are you looking for a dance? Are you looking for a shout? What are you looking for, right? Are you looking for a holistic ministry? One of the great things that I love about my ministry is that it ministers to the total man.
Come on.
So it deals with the whole spiritual aspect. It has a great men's ministry. And then it deals with the whole secular aspect of it, right? Like the Cedarmore Corporation that empowers young people. It's not church. It's just another entity, right? That is now able to allow more resources and skill sets to be utilized to minister to the total man.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why I don't mind being in Boys Into Men, because Boys Into Men is now taking me out of the church and putting me into the secular arena. And so in doing so with that, it's important that you're connected to the right leader. Leadership is important. Mentorship is important. You have to make sure that you're connected to someone that is, how can I say it? Connected to someone who has already championed where you're trying to go.
Love that. Right? Say that again.
Yeah. Make sure you are connected.
They're already doing it well, people.
To someone who is already championed to where you're trying to go. Right? Why would you look for a new home and you reach out to a friend that's living in a basement apartment?
Come on.
No, you go find a friend who's already bought a house that can help you get through the process of buying a house, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
So for me, when I look for leadership in different areas in my life, I say, okay, God, what is the vision for my life? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Where do I want to be in 20 years, right? And I start looking for leadership, right? And leadership is not only the church, right?
Right.
So I want to pull away from the church a little bit, but it's about leadership in the marketplace, if you will, right? Where do I want to be 10 years in my career? Where do I want to be 10 years in my education? Who can I find that is going to support me, motivate me, push me, and encourage me to be successful, right? And so I remember, I talk about myself since this is hot topic, right? So when I got out of high school, right, I just did my own thing. I didn't go to college right away or anything like that. It was sometime in between. And I remember people like, you need to go to school, right? Like, you need to go to school. And Bishop Frank O. White was an advocate for school. His thing was like, it's not good enough for my 5 kids to have an education and the people I pastor don't. So he was an advocate for education. I remember I'm like, all right, Bishop, all right, cool, you know, whatever. Like, I'm gonna get there, right? And then all of a sudden, the Lord started positioning people around me that kept speaking education, right? And because of that, that took root in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit. And then the next thing you know, I was in school, had an associate's degree. Back in school, I had a bachelor's, right? And now I'm working on my master's, and I will have a PhD.
Come on,
right? Whether that be a JD in law or whether it be a PhD in something else, I'm going to have a PhD, right? That is one of the goals that I want to achieve, right?
Love it.
But everybody that was around me educationally was educators at different levels, right? And so now that I'm in grad school and I'm going to be looking for a PhD, now I got to surround myself with people that actually have a PhD, right? I need to know how many hours it takes. I need to know what it costs, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally to do a dissertation, right? And to do all of these different things. So I think you got to make sure that you are connected to the right people.
That's it. Listen, I keep saying, listen, he don't be watching like that. It's God. I'm telling you, I keep telling y'all. Divine connections, alignment. He's using all the words that God keeps speaking. You have to catch it. You got to apply it to your life. Listen, words have power. You hear what he's saying. The environment. I even keep saying environment. He said the people he were around, God has started aligning, bringing people into his space that were already educated, that had their degrees, that had this. His pastor telling him, listen, all my kids got what they need. No way I'm preaching all this. I'm sweating and everything.
Right.
And my people, my sheep are not educated.
Right.
So he had a vision that he spoke into the lives of those that he was preaching to, that he was covering. I love that. Oh my God.
And since we're talking about the men factor, if you will, my brothers, it's vitally important that you speak into the lives of other young men, right? They may not be your son, right? You may not have no kids. You may not even know them, right? But the thing about men is our masculinity, right? We're not afraid. We're not fearful, right? We're going to go to the fight, right? We're going to step in your face. We're going to approach you, right? And so one of the things that we've got to be strategic about and intentional about is making sure we invest into the lives of other young men, right? Just because they're not yours or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you don't have anything to say. Your life experience as a Black man is enough to pour into another Black man. So what you don't have the degree? So what you don't have the $100,000 salary, right? You still have an experience that only the Black man can speak to.
Yes.
And it is your experience that is going to empower, encourage, and motivate other young men to may not, hey, don't go the path I went, right? Go this route. This is what I did. And if I was 20 years old, I would have done it this way now that I know, right? So make sure you invest, be intentional in this season to invest in the lives of young people, right? Not only through mentorship and through speaking to them, through them, but also invest in them financially, right? And I know, like, financially, yes, financially.
Pay the people. Right? I always say that. Pay the people.
Take a young man to go get a haircut. Go get him a gift certificate haircut, right? His mom may be a single mother who may not be able to get him a haircut but once a month, right? Do something kind financially for young men, right? Even if it's, hey, Boys and to Men got a registration fee of $25. I'm going to sponsor you to go here, right? When a young man see you actually giving of your own time and of your own resources, they're going to stay connected to you. They're going to be like, wait a minute, why is he doing that? You don't even know me, right? That's not my dad. That's not my uncle. Why are you being so kind to me, right? Because we don't necessarily see that. But we'll go to the club, we'll spend $500-$600 on bottle service, 3 bottles, $600 that you can buy for $60 in the liquor store, right? You know what I'm saying? And so you spend all of that money. Think about taking 10% of that, right? $60 and investing in the life of a young man, right? College students, a book costs $120. Think about taking that $60, giving it to a Black young man that is trying to pursue his education. You know what a difference that would make in their life?
Say it, Dexter.
To pay half of somebody's book.
Yeah.
So we've got to come up, my brothers.
We got to come up. I love it.
And pour into our young men.
Absolutely. I love it. So now, you mentioned, all right, I want to go back into Boys and to Men. Explain to the people some of the things you guys do with the youth. And if you have anything that's coming up, I know you mentioned registration. Please put the plug. I'll have all the description, everything in the description as well. But, I would like for you to tap into that. And then I want to kind of go into, the psychological place that our men are in. I think I was sharing, I don't know if I was sharing with you or maybe it was Diamond about Regina King's son who, they're saying committed suicide. And then I watched a live where a man, he was clearly going through whatever he was going through with his wife and a girlfriend. He had pregnant or something, and he decided he was going to kill both of them, and then he killed himself. So things are happening. And this is, I'm not even trying to be funny. Please, it is what it is.
Right.
We don't really kill ourselves. So to continuously see this, it's like something's happening.
Right.
So, tap into, Boys and to Men, what kind of things you guys do with the youth. And then I would like you to tap into the psychological place.
Sure. So we spend the majority of our time in Boys and to Men definitely investing in young men. Like I said before, the total man, right? So everything from academics to athletes, to jobs and careers, to collegeology. So for example, in March, we'll be doing a March Madness where we will be talking to young men and about being prepared for college athletes. What do you need to do, right? So we're going to deal with threefold during that particular session. It would be talking about the athlete academically. We're going to be talking about the athlete physically, and we're going to be talking about the athlete image, right? So those are 3 important parts that athletes need to pay attention to, right?
Absolutely.
You've got to have good grades to be on the team, right? And if you're thinking about going to a college to play, you definitely need to have that GPA to get into college, right? And then after that, you got to be physically fit. What does that mean to the athlete, right? Can I still play football and basketball and still have my edibles, right? Or can I drink whatever I'm going to drink? Can I do what I'm going to do? Right? How does that affect my ability to play? How does that affect my ability to be recruited? Right? And then the last thing we're going to talk about is the image of an athlete. What is the image of an athlete? Right? Back in the day when I ran track, anytime we had a meet, or any time the football team played or the basketball team played, you had to dress up. That's how the school knew that it was game day.
Right.
You had to have on a shirt, a tie, and some slacks. No jeans, no jeans, no sneakers, any of that. Right? You had to dress up, and I feel like we have lost that to a certain degree because one, we're not in school, right? Because of the pandemic, right? So you now lose your discipline. You now lose the ability to achieve as you were when you were in school. And so there are a lot of things that we are going to address with regards to the athlete. Then we're going to do a big sneaker ball fundraiser in June because it takes money to raise these programs.
It does.
And so we're going to do a whole sneaker ball fundraiser that I am super excited about.
I want to go.
You can dress up in your highest garments.
I love sneaker balls.
And then throw on your hottest sneakers. And so I'm super excited. And all money and all proceeds will go to Boys into Men programs. Last year, we actually took the kids to space. We partnered with NASA and the whole space center.
Like space.
Right. And so we virtually took them to space across the world, right? So a lot of times people are like, this pandemic is this and that pandemic did that, right? But this pandemic has actually been a blessing.
Come on.
Because moving to a virtual platform now allows us to extend our reach and to expand our borders. And so we have young men in Chicago, in California, in North Carolina,
love it,
in Florida. And so we were able to send them a lunchbox, right? This is why we need you to support the sneaker ball.
Yeah, come on.
We were able to send all of those students a lunchbox. So when they went to space, they had lunch going to space, right? And of course, shipping and handling by itself is $10 on top of the actual product that you are sending out. We had another event last year with relating to work and careers and kind of little sports, is that you may not be the athlete, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't be in a sports arena. So we partnered with the National Baseball League, where we had a number of professionals from the baseball league to come and to speak to our young men about careers in baseball.
Love it.
So those are just some of the things that we continue to do. We have Colleology, which is a brand of ours. We started it. So if you hear it, it was us.
Well.
And it simply is the study of preparing someone for college, right? Colleology. And so what we do is we have a number of sessions that we bring male and female, because we have Boys into Men and Girls Talk. We bring them into our sessions and we teach them how to fill out the FAFSA, how to fill out financial aid.
So important.
How to choose a school, right? What's the best school for you? Do you want to go out of state? Do you want to stay in state? If you stay in state, are you going to an in-state school or are you choosing another school, right? Which is going to save you money in the long run, right? I remember graduating, I had a lot of friends. They was going to Yale, they was going to Duke, they was going to Morehouse, they were going to all these Ivy League schools. When they got there, the school was too expensive. So what they did was they came out after the first semester. They checked into a community college, did 2 years at a community college, paid at that time was probably $1,500, $2,000 a semester. And they graduated. Then they went back to Duke, Yale, Princeton, all these other schools, and they only paid 2 years instead of paying 4 years for the school, right? So these are different techniques that we teach in Colleology. We work with single moms who their child may be the first to go to college, right? And the parents don't know because the parents never went to college or have a degree, right? We avail ourselves and we teach them throughout the year about preparing for college, and they go to college and they become successful and they stay a part of the Cedar Corporation.
Listen, the fruits, okay? Yeah. The fruits, the vision, the environment, it's all connected. It's all connected for the whole man. I love that you keep saying the whole man is so important. So I wanted to ask this. I actually got a message tonight that that was interesting. Once I said it to you guys in here, I started kind of dwelling on it for a little bit. What do you think about, let me just say this. Here we go, social media. I've been seeing a lot of men venting, and recently I saw a post where a guy said something on the lines of, if some of you women didn't have children, you wouldn't have services and you wouldn't have a place. Something on the lines of, like, basically saying the reason why the women move the way they move with the children, things like that, because of what they were given, like, from the government. And they have power over the guy because of those particular things. But if they didn't have it, it would be more male fathers as single parents. Something on the lines of that. Mm-hmm. So what is your take on, the household? I know we spoke about, right, the psyche of the male Black man as a whole, but being in the household in reference to self-esteem and feeling like I don't really have a place, or I don't have anything to give my son, I don't have anything to give my daughter because, she has it all. I'm not sure what I'm doing. She just been kind of holding me down. Like, what do you say to stuff like that in reference to the household?
Oh, this is trouble. This is a hot topic.
It is a hot mic.
This is a hot mic, hot topic.
We gotta do it. We trying to grow in here. We trying to grow. We trying to heal.
Right. So this is not, this is Dexter 101. This is not Boys into Men or See No More. I think, one, it comes with you, right? Who are you, right? Do you know who you are, right? People laugh at me because I go eat by myself, right? I am comfortable, confident in who I am. Who's sitting across the table from me does not determine if I'm going to eat or not.
Say it.
I'm hungry, and so I'm going to
I'm going to eat.
Right? Whether you're with me or not, whether it's at home in the kitchen or whether it's at Ruth Chris, like, I am going to eat, right?
Come on, Dexter.
Because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I know that I have the mental capacity and the ability to go eat by myself, with myself, and for myself, because I know who I am, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've got to identify, do you know who you are, right? Because people feel a certain type of way when they're not sure about themselves.
Right.
Right? Like I said about the analogy about the garbage, right? Taking out the trash, right? At the end of the day, I know that's my job, right? I don't want my wife, when I do get married, hey, honey, wherever you are.
She coming.
She coming. Hey.
She coming.
Glory, she's coming. Yeah. Right? I'm not going to want my wife to be taking out dirty trash, right? She may want it out at 7 or after dinner, right? But nah, I'm going to take it out when I'm ready to take it out, right? And I think sometimes, I'm going to get in trouble tonight.
Come on.
Gracious. I think sometimes women don't allow men to be the man, right? Just because I said I'm going to take it out and you want me to take it out right now doesn't mean you should go get the garbage and take it out right now.
This keeps coming up. I promise you, this same exact analogy I done seen on social media like 5 times.
Right.
We gotta handle this, y'all, ladies.
And so, right, play your role, right?
Yeah,
everybody have a role to play. Play your role. When you play your role, then there are no accidents, right?
Yeah.
Bishop used to say, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
When you stay in your lane, there are no accidents. And I think we see the discrepancy in the homes when the male is not in his lane and the female is not in her lane, right? When you're not in your lane, you have accidents, right? And the great thing about being in your lane is you can cross lanes. But guess what? You got a signal. You got to allow your mate to know that I'm getting ready to cross lanes, right? And when you do that, then it's like, okay, cool. I now give you the authority to cross the lane, right? Yeah. How many times you put your signal on? right? You put your signal on, and the cabbage patch didn't let you come over, right? They didn't give you the authority to come into the lane.
You didn't have the right of way
particular time, so you had to wait for them to what? Pass in order for you to cross into the next lane, right? And I think that's how it is with male and female living, right? In the household, right? What is your role? What's your responsibility? Do you know what that is, right? A lot of times people don't have those conversations before marriage, and they get into marriage trying to define what the role is, right? But you got to define what the role is prior to marriage, so when you get in marriage, there are no car accidents because you didn't signal when you was trying to cross lanes, right? Yeah. So I think a lot of times it has to deal with, one, do you know who you are, right? Mm-hmm. What is your capacity? What are you capable of doing, right? If my wife is good with paying bills and paying them on time, here, honey, here's the check, right? Because I don't like late stuff, right? I don't want you messing up my credit score. Mm-hmm. I don't want nothing late. I don't want nobody calling me. I got enough scam calls already, right? I don't want them. Right? So if you are more administratively organized and you can handle the bills, the mortgage, the whatever, then here you go. Let me know what I need to put in the account and make it happen. Yeah. Right? Everything else, I got, right? I'm going to take your car to the shop because you don't know nothing about it, right? I'm going to get your car washed because, once again, it's dirty, right?
He chose violence again.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you going to take your car to get washed, right? Like, I feel like, and I'm not saying that a woman can't, right? If you driving your Benz, Beamer, whatever you driving in this dirty, you want to stop at the car wash on the way home, cool, right? But when I roll up and I see your car's dirty, then I'm automatically like, I'm going to get your car washed. Give me your key, right? And I'll get in the car. Don't have no gas in it, ladies. Lord Jesus.
He's choosing violence.
You got to put gas in it.
I don't know this is a good idea now.
Right? What? So there's no gas in it, then it's also my responsibility to put it in, right? And for my brother who is not working, who don't make as much as she do, if you don't have it at that moment, don't be ashamed. Honey, give me $20, put in your gas tank, right? You go get her money because she got stash upon stash, right? My mother be driving me crazy because she be, I'm like, every time my mother be in her pocket, I'm like, what you looking for? My money. What do you mean your money? Is it in your wallet? No, I put it in the envelope. Mom! Well, you got money
That's
in
black
the
mamas.
You got all these envelopes in your pocketbook.
It's the bra. Listen, old school.
Everywhere.
Go ahead, mama.
Bro, she got money. Tell her to give you the money, right? If you don't have it and you don't have, it's not a pay week for you, right? But you see her car empty, ask her for the money. Go get her car and put some gas in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be ashamed of being in between checks, right? We can't be ashamed of that. And because of that, then now we don't do our due diligence as a man and say, hey, honey, I'm going to put some gas in your car. I may not have the money, but I'd rather you give me the money than to make sure that you have gas so that you're not walking or stuck somewhere.
Right.
So
you think that was so good. So do you think that, love what you said, you know, I speak like them to my sons, you know, I say to them all the time, you know, who are you? And they'll flat out immediately say, I'm a child of the king.
Right.
They'll just start going in with different affirmations and things. Right. So how I don't want to be on this too much, but I'm going there now. You know, how do men expect the female to respond if you don't really know who you are? If you do take on a role and she's entrusting you, she's praying with you, she's speaking into your life that, you know, God is going to move in you because I know there's greatness in you, but you're not performing in that capacity. You know, how do you expect the woman to respond to that without her feeling penalized because you don't know who you are?
Right. So I think that the woman shouldn't respond. Right? Because it's not you to respond. Right? It's him. It's him. You want him to get it, but the reality is, if he don't get it, you still gonna be frustrated. Right? So I think that the woman should create an environment for him to get it. Right?
Explain.
So You're an entrepreneur. You want him to be an entrepreneur. When the last time you invited him to your entrepreneurship meeting?
Come on.
Right? You want him, you got your degree. You want him to have his degree. When the last time you sat and asked him, hey, what's your educational goals? Right? I'm going to help you. Right? Not I'm going to do it for you.
Right.
Or you need a degree. I got my master's degree and I'm bringing in all this money and you just sitting here with a high school diploma. He there for
Come
something.
on, Dexter.
He's there for you. Allowed him to sit there for something for all these years.
For something.
So what you fussing about?
Right.
You did this, right? So for me, it's about creating an environment, creating an atmosphere where he's comfortable with approaching what you have on the table.
Right.
Right? Whether it's a job, whether it's education, right? Sometimes female become the male, or they cross over into the male lane and become more aggressive or as aggressive as the male and say, this is what you need to be doing, right? Now, ladies, homie ain't listening to anything you're saying, telling him what to do.
Right.
Right? It's no shade, it's the culture of the male.
Yeah.
Right? So when I was in my little relationship, she would be like, call me when you get home. That ain't my, no. That's no. You call me.
What?
When you get home.
Oh, okay.
Right? I'm not calling you. Like, I may be like, I'm going to text you, right? I'm going to hit it up, right? But it's just something like, all right, let me know when you get home. No. You let me know.
She can't care.
When she can care, right? But once again, it's all about the approach, right? It's not that, because sometimes, lady, y'all got this nag to y'all. That it's just like, all right. Well, you let me know when you get home. Are you gonna call me when you get home? Like, I'm gonna let me miss you. Let me miss you, okay?
Let me miss you.
You keep throwing yourself up here and then you're like, do you miss me? No, you never left. You haven't gone anywhere for me to miss you. Okay. So no, I don't miss you.
No, I don't miss you yet.
No, go home. Then I miss you, right? And so I believe that the woman, should create an environment, create an atmosphere that is not aggressive, but is conducive for the dude to be like, you know what? I'm gonna look at that pamphlet on the table, right? Not like here, look. I'm trying to tell you, look. This is what you need. No. Yeah, like, hey, boo, I put this out for you. If you're interested in looking at it, let me know. It's here, at your leisure, at your discretion, at your disposal, right? Like, it's here, right? But for you to put it down his throat, he becomes, aggravated and frustrated, and all he want to do is watch the game.
He hit it with the watch the game. So one of the things that, when I'm talking to, my male friends, my husband, my oldest or whatever, one of the things I'm always saying is like, when certain things are said and I know it's not my place, I'm like, y'all need some friends. And when I'm saying that, I mean like friends that can pour into you positively, friends that, are fruitful, friends that, like you said earlier, you're surrounded by the people that are already doing what you're trying to do. So how important is having a mentor is so important. What do you say to the men who, because for me, you can tell me if I'm wrong, I feel that a lot of the issues with our men is connected to self-esteem.
Right.
So if I were to say to my husband, I'm just using an example. If I would say to you, Dexter, because you need to go connect with this person because he's doing ABC, and your response might be, he a man just like me.
Right.
Which means you're missing my whole point of telling you, no, this man, you was talking about real estate the other day. Right. This one is doing ABC. He's like a millionaire now. You need to contact him. And you just like, I'm going to learn it. Like, I can get there, and you're missing the whole point. What is that about, in our community where some see others as a threat, even though that particular person may literally have what you need, but your mind is like, I'll get there. What is that? What is that about? Or have you seen that being, in Boys into Men for all these years?
It's the nature of the man, right? And that's why it's important for women to to really study men and what masculinity mean, right? So men are contenders, right? Like it's yeah, you could have your own business, right? But I'm gonna get mine and I'm gonna get it my way, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we're trying to tear each other down, right? It's just that it's like I can do it better, right? Like men love cars, right? So you driving a Porsche, I'm driving a Lamborghini, right? Let's race these bad boys, right? Like it's that tension that we have that allow us to be competitors, right? We are competitors. We like to compete, not only in sports, but also in life, right? So if you're the real estate broker and this is something I want to do, right? I'm gonna look at what you're doing. I'm gonna take what I need to take, and then I'm gonna go do it and put my twist to it too, and let you know that I sold twice as many houses than you did, right? So that's what it's all about, right? Okay. It's about being that whole having that competitive spirit to them, right? So it's not a negative thing, right? I think mentorship is mentorship, right? It's simply guidance, seeking guidance from, a person in a particular area that you are, right? So what may be more helpful in that person seeking a mentor would probably be somebody who's older, right? As opposed to somebody who's younger, right? So a lot of times younger men will look up to me, right? My peers are like,
it's Dexter.
We doing the same thing, right? We don't have the same thing. I got that. And so I think when we look at mentorship, we've got to look at it from a twofold as to what is it that you want, right? Because you can learn from anybody that you're trying to compete with.
Right.
And
say that. Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't learn from anyone that you're trying to compete with.
That's a word.
So either we're competing or you're mentoring me.
Yeah.
Right? And it's in sports everywhere, right? You don't see teams practicing against teams, right? They practice against the players, right? When they go up against a team, they're competing to win this game. They're competing for the Super Bowl, right? And so you got to be able and willing to learn, or either you're going to be competing and you can't learn, right? So then you've got to find a mentor that you can learn from, and then you've got to be willing and receptive to the guidance that they're going to give you in that particular area. And a lot of times in mentorships, it's like you grow, and you develop, and then you hit a certain place, and like, I ain't listening to you. I was not doing it that way, right? And then it kind of just falls apart, right? But mentorship is like, I'm going to submit to the guidance because you've been here, you've done that, you know more, and I need that. So.
Yeah, because I feel like, and this is just what I've seen, I feel like what seems to happen is, even with therapy, I've talked to guys, black men who've been married for a certain amount of time, and it feels like every time I speak to them, they complain about the same thing. I'm like, but didn't you go to counseling? Yeah, that didn't work. I'm like, it didn't work, or you didn't work it.
Right.
There's a difference.
Right.
So I feel like what happens is people will say that they want to do a certain thing, but they don't really want to do the work. Right. So even with, you use an analogy with the couple and the garbage thing or whatever, I feel like some of it's kind of like an ego thing where I don't think the woman, for me, I'm going to just speak for me. I don't want to do your job. I promise you I don't. Right. I don't want to do your job, but it's a thing of I've been made to have to because you haven't been in place,
right,
or because you don't know who you are,
right,
and you're putting that on me, right, and having me feel like, okay, maybe something's wrong with me and it's really not. So, what happens when you don't even want to get the help? Like, you don't want to get the help. You want me to still be there. Some kind of decision has to be made.
right.
And then that leaves broken homes, broken children,
yeah,
because we'll make decisions together,
right,
together,
yeah,
and there's children involved. And now the children are in a situation where they're like, okay, I love dad. Dad's always mad. I love mom. She's always mad. I don't know who to deal with.
right.
So when it comes to boys and to men, what have been some of the stories that you can remember that's like, this is why I have to continue to do this, because I encountered this particular kid that was going through this particular thing. Right. Do you have one of those stories?
So yeah, not from a boys into men perspective, just in life in general, right? Some parents will come to me and be like, "My son is not here, right? He's physically here, but mentally, emotionally, he's not here, right?" And when I see a lot with dealing with young people, is that they check out, right? And so they don't even make it to the school. They don't even make it to boys and to men, right? Like, I don't want to talk to nobody because I don't want to deal with it, right? And so I think one, as parents, and I'm speaking from my experience because my parents were just way ratchet before ratchet was ratchet.